Please help me to reach 1,000 subscribers. I never imagined that one single moment could shatter everything I thought I had, yet here I am, sitting alone in my apartment, replaying that night over and over in my mind. My name is Michael, I'm 38 years old, and for the past 12 years I believed my marriage with Sarah was solid. We had shared countless memories, built a life together, and I always thought that, no matter what, we could weather any storm. I was wrong. Dead wrong. It started as a subtle suspicion. A lingering glance at her phone, a sudden flinch when I entered the room. At first, I convinced myself it was nothing. People have secrets, I told myself. I wanted to believe in her, in us. But deep down, a quiet voice kept whispering that something was off, that the intimacy we once shared was fading, replaced by a cold distance I couldn't explain. The turning point came one Thursday evening. I had stayed late at the office, finishing reports, trying to impress my boss with my diligence. When I returned home, the apartment was empty, lights off, an unusual silence hanging in the air. My instincts told me to call her, but I hesitated. Something in me, a dread I couldn't shake, made me wait. And then I saw it, her car parked on the side street, not where it usually was. The unease turned into a knot in my stomach. I followed her discreetly, staying a block behind as she walked into a dimly lit cafe I had never associated with her usual hangouts. Through the window, I saw her laughing, leaning in close to a man I didn't recognize at first. His hand brushed against hers lightly, but intimate enough to make my heart stop. I froze, unable to move, unable to breathe, my mind struggling to process what I was witnessing. The laughter, the ease between them, the casual familiarity, it wasn't just a fleeting flirtation. It was years of betrayal condensed into a single moment. I watched as they left together, walking side by side down the street, and in that instant, something inside me broke. Not a yell, not a confrontation, just a quiet, absolute understanding that the life I thought I had was gone. That night, I packed a small bag, not much, just essentials, and left without saying a word. No argument, no yelling, no confrontation. I left quietly because I didn't want to give her the satisfaction of seeing me hurt, because I wanted to protect what little dignity I had left. I drove aimlessly, not knowing where I was headed, only knowing that I needed distance, both physically and emotionally, from the woman I once loved. The days that followed were a haze. Friends called, family reached out, but I brushed them off. I changed apartments, changed routines, and made sure that she had no idea where I was. I didn't want revenge, I didn't want closure, and I certainly didn't want her forgiveness. I just wanted peace, a chance to breathe again without the weight of betrayal pressing down on me every second. Months passed and life moved forward in unexpected ways. I rebuilt myself quietly, investing time in work, in hobbies I had long neglected, in friendships I had taken for granted. Slowly the anger faded, replaced by a cautious calm. I wasn't happy, not entirely, but I was surviving, and survival felt like a victory in itself. Then 1 year later I received a message. Her name appeared on my phone's screen, simple, unadorned, yet carrying a weight I hadn't anticipated. Can we talk? I need to explain. I'm sorry. My first instinct was to delete it. My second was to ignore it. My third was to sit down and stare at the message, feeling my chest tighten in a way I hadn't experienced in months. The calm I had fought so hard to maintain threatened to crumble at the thought of seeing her, hearing her voice, and facing the consequences of the past year. When she arrived, she looked older, softer somehow, the weight of regret etched into her face. Her eyes, once so familiar, seemed foreign now, searching mine for a reaction, for a sign that I had forgiven her before I even had a chance to think. I didn't speak. I just let her sit there, the silence stretching between us, thick with unspoken words and memories we both knew we could never undo. She started slowly, haltingly, explaining, apologizing, recounting the months of guilt and self-loathing she had endured. Every word she spoke was measured, careful, as if she feared that any misstep could shatter the fragile truth she hoped to establish. She told me about the loneliness she had felt, the realization that what she had lost was far greater than what she had gained. She admitted mistakes I had long suspected, confessed to choices that had wounded me deeply, and yet, for all her remorse, she never demanded forgiveness. She simply wanted acknowledgement, a chance to be seen, perhaps for the first time in a year. As I listened, a flood of emotions surged through me. Anger, disbelief, sorrow, and a small, reluctant tenderness I couldn't quite suppress. I realized that I had changed too, not just physically in the routines I had adopted, but internally, in the way I valued myself and the boundaries I now understood I needed to enforce. She had hurt me, yes, but I had survived, and in surviving I had grown stronger than I ever had before. I asked her to leave, eventually, not out of cruelty but out of necessity. The past couldn't be undone, and the future couldn't be rewritten to accommodate the mistakes of yesterday. She left with tears in her eyes, silent, acknowledging without words that the bridge between us had been burned, not by a momentary lapse, but by the accumulation of choices that neither of us could fully forgive. Sitting alone afterward, I felt a strange clarity. The pain, the betrayal, the quiet departure, they had shaped me in ways I hadn't anticipated. I wasn't bitter, I wasn't seeking revenge. I was simply aware, fully, of my own worth and the power of walking away when respect was no longer mutual.